The distant star system of Veridex buzzed with activity. Ships from dozens of species drifted in and out of the sprawling spaceport, their sleek hulls glinting under the twin suns. Among the crowd of diplomats, merchants, and explorers, the Zevra Council lounged in their elevated chamber, overlooking the scene with practiced indifference to them. The galaxy was a tapestry of advanced civilizations bound by their own codes of honor and power. But there was one story that persisted, one tale they dismissed as little more than a drunken sailor's yarn or children's bedtime legend. The story of humanity. For centuries, the Zevra and many other galactic species had laughed at the notion of human spheres. Unpredictable and stubborn to a fault. According to myth, humans had fought tooth and claw against extinction, thrived in environments that would kill lesser species, and survived wars that shattered entire worlds. To the Zevra, these were fairy tales told to scare children or inflate human pride. Now a human delegation was arriving. Officially, they came to negotiate peaceful trade and cultural exchange. But beneath the surface, the Zevra saw only an opportunity to expose the truth. They expected to find a primitive race, outmatched by millennia of galactic advancement. They expected to laugh once more. The council chamber was a cavernous space carved from crystalline stone, its walls shimmering with holographic maps of the galaxy. At the center sat Grand Magistrate Ulrich, an imposing figure with eyes like molten silver and a voice that commanded respect. "Prepare the reception," Ulrich ordered, his tone dripping with condescension. "These humans will soon learn their place among the stars." Meanwhile, aboard the human ship Resolute, Commander Marcus Voss stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the viewscreen. The stars stretched endlessly before him, cold and distant, yet filled with promise. His crew bustled quietly around him, engineers monitoring systems, diplomats rehearsing protocols, but Marcus remained focused. War had taught him discipline, patience, and the value of silence. His face bore the marks of countless battles, a scar tracing his jawline, eyes sharp and steady. He was no stranger to skepticism or mockery, but his purpose now was clear. "We're about to arrive in Veridex," the communications officer announced. "All systems nominal." Marcus nodded. "Good. Keep watch. This isn't just another mission." He turned to Lieutenant Sella, his second command. "Remember, they don't understand us, but we don't have to prove anything, just show them who we are." Sella gave a small, determined smile. "Understood, Commander." When the Resolute docked at the bustling spaceport, a crowd had already gathered. The Zevra diplomats greeted the humans with thinly veiled amusement. Their translator projected sharp barbs and patronizing remarks. "Legends say humans fight like beasts and survive by sheer luck," Ulrich announced, voice echoing through the hall. "Show us if these tales hold any truth." Marcus stepped forward, his presence commanding attention. "We don't live by legends. We live by action, by honor, and by resolve." A ripple of laughter swept through the room. The Zevra saw only a stubborn relic, unwilling to accept its place beneath the stars. But Marcus remained. The delegation was ushered to a hall designed for demonstrations. Here, the Zevra intended to display their superior combat technology and tactics. The message was clear. This was a spectacle to confirm the myth of human weakness. Yet, even as the Zevra mocked, Marcus's eyes burned with quiet fire. He knew. The truth wasn't in stories told by others. It was in every scar on his body, every moment he had survived when others had fallen, and soon they would see. The hum of the grand hall was thick with anticipation and barely concealed contempt. Delegates from dozens of worlds sat perched in observation balconies, their expressions ranging from amused curiosity to smug certainty. The Zevra Council's plan to humiliate humanity was well underway. But then, the doors slid open. Commander Marcus Voss stepped forward, his presence instantly silencing the murmurs. His frame was solid, worn by years of conflict, yet he moved with the calm precision of a seasoned leader. His uniform, marked with the insignia of Earth's Defense Corps, carried the weight of countless battles fought across forgotten frontiers. Marcus's eyes scanned the room, settling on the panel of Zevra officers awaiting the human demonstration with thinly veiled derision. He didn't flinch. "Your legends mock us," Marcus said, his voice low but firm, carrying across the chamber. "But every scar I bear is a testament to our survival. Every battle fought is a lesson in endurance. We are not myths. We are real, and we will prove it." The Zevra snorted, their amusement visible. Commander Thalen, the lead Zevra officer, stepped forward with a confident smirk. "We shall see if your actions speak louder than your words, human. Prepare your champions." From behind Marcus, a small group of human soldiers assembled. Were lean, agile, and trained not with the flashy technology or overwhelming firepower the Zevra relied on, but with something deeper: adaptability, cunning, and resolve. Thalen gestured towards the combat arena, an expansive chamber equipped with holographic terrain that could shift to mimic any environment. "We will test your species with a series of combat trials. Fail, and you admit your legends are nothing more than fantasies." Marcus nodded. "Agreed. But know this, we don't fight to dominate. We fight to survive. And we don't back down." The doors to the arena opened, revealing a landscape that shifted from rocky canyons to dense forests, then to urban ruins. The Zevra champions stepped forward, their armor gleaming with superior technology, energy shields, plasma weapons, and advanced targeting systems. Marcus's team readied themselves with only light armor and conventional weapons, their focus on agility and teamwork. The first trial began. Zevra fighters launched a coordinated assault, relying on overwhelming firepower and precision strikes. But Marcus's squad moved as one, dodging, using cover, communicating silently. Their tactics were unpredictable, a blend of guerrilla warfare and rapid adaptation. Marcus led from the front, deflecting plasma blasts with a reinforced shield, and countering with precise strikes that exploited the Zevra's rigid formations. The Zevra were taken aback. "This is not the savage recklessness you expected," Marcus muttered to Sella as they regrouped. "It's discipline, forged in hardship." Round after round, the humans endured. Their endurance surprised the Zevra, who began to see cracks in their arrogance. Between trials, Marcus addressed his team. "They doubt us because they refuse to see what we've survived. That's our advantage. They expect chaos. We give them order born from struggle." As the last trial approached a complex scenario, simulating a full-scale battle in shifting environments, Marcus's team prepared. With quiet intensity, the Zevra champions, confident but wary, awaited the final test. The hall buzzed with tension when the combat began again. Marcus's team moved like a single organism, covering each other, improvising tactics and exploiting weaknesses in the Zevra's technology. At one point, Marcus disarmed two opponents with a swift combination, his experience clear in every movement. The crowd watched. Stunned, Commander Thalen's smirk faltered. The final bell echoed. The humans had not only survived, they had excelled. The Zevra Council murmured among themselves, their certainty shaken. Marcus returned to the chamber floor, meeting the eyes of the alien leaders. "You mocked us. You called our legends lies. But now, you have seen the truth. We are more than stories. We are a force to be reckoned with." The room fell into a heavy silence. Outside, word spread quickly: humanity was no myth, and Marcus Voss, battle-hardened and unyielding, had made them believe. The hall where the demonstrations had taken place slowly emptied, but the tension it carried lingered like a thick fog. The Zevra Council retreated to their chambers to deliberate. Their confident facade cracked, but not yet broken. Whispers and debates filled the corridors. Had humanity really proven their strength? Or was this just an anomaly? Commander Marcus Voss and his team were escorted back to the human delegation's quarters, where Marcus allowed himself a brief moment to breathe. His mind, however, was already racing. Lieutenant Sella joined him, eyes bright with determination. They're stunned, but they're not convinced. This isn't over. Marcus nodded grimly. It never is. They think they can break us with more trials. We have to be ready. The next day, the Zevra Council sent an official challenge, one that carried the weight of their entire coalition, a full-scale battle simulation, designed to push humanity's limits and finally prove once and for all if their legends were true or merely fantasy. The challenge was clear. Marcus and his team would face a complex multi-environment wargame against the best Zevra commanders, with stakes higher than before. The simulation would test strategy, endurance, and resolve over several cycles without rest. The human delegation gathered to discuss their response. Many saw the risk if they lost. Their mission would collapse, their species humiliated. But Marcus's voice carried the steady certainty of a leader born in war. "We don't shy away from the challenge," he said. "This is not just about us. It's about humanity's place in the galaxy. We fight, we endure, and we prove our worth." The Council accepted. The battle simulation was set in an enormous arena on the surface of Veridex's largest moon. It featured varied terrendence forests, craggy mountains, open desert sand, shifting weather patterns, all designed to test adaptability. On the morning of the battle, Marcus and his team suited up. The weight of expectation pressed on them, but their resolve was unshaken. Marcus's scars felt like badges of honor, proof that he and his people had faced worse and survived. Across the field, the Zevra champions appeared, their confidence barely masked. Commander Thalon approached, eyes narrowing, prepared to be broken human. Marcus met the gaze evenly. "We don't break. We bend and fight back." As the simulation began, chaos erupted. The Zevra launched rapid assaults, deploying drones, energy weapons, and coordinated squads. But Marcus's team was ready. Using guerrilla tactics honed in countless battles, the humans moved swiftly, yumushing, retreating, regrouping. Marcus's leadership was precise, issuing orders in terse commands, adapting instantly to changing conditions. During one intense skirmish in the dense forest, Marcus spotted an opening. With a quick signal, his squad set a trap, using the terrain to their advantage. The Zevra forces, expecting a straightforward fight, were caught off guard and forced to retreat with losses. Each cycle of the battle pushed the humans harder. Injuries and dwindling resources tested their limits. But their spirit never wavered. Between fights, Marcus reminded them of their strength. "We've survived worse. Every challenge is a chance to prove who we are." The Zevra, watching from the sidelines, grew increasingly uneasy. The humans refused to fall into predictable patterns, turning what looked like desperation into opportunity. By the final cycle, it was clear the tide had turned. Marcus's team had become a symbol, not just of human tenacity, but of something greater, a spirit unbroken by adversity. Commander Thalon, battered and weary, finally extended a hand during the post-battle debrief. "You have forced us to rethink what we believed. Your legends may not be myths after all." Marcus accepted the gesture, steady and respectful. "We are what we've endured, what we continue to be." The hall was silent, filled with the weight of new understanding. The challenge had been meat, and humanity had won more than a battle. They had won respect. The calm after the challenge was deceptive. The Zevra Council's grudging respect had not yet blossomed into acceptance. They remained cautious, wary of what humanity's resilience truly meant. But the galaxy's rumors had already begun to stir in the sprawling spaceport of Veridex. Preparations for a larger demonstration were underway, one the Zevra called the First Clash. Unlike the previous trials, this was not a simulation. It was a live combat exercise designed to test human tactics against Zevra elite forces in a controlled environment. Marcus Voss stood at the edge of the battlefield. An expansive terrain of rocky ridges and sparse vegetation lit under artificial suns. The Zevra forces lined up opposite Himsleek. Disciplined warriors armed with energy rifles and tactical shields. Their armor shimmering with adaptive camouflage. Beside Marcus, his team adjusted gear and exchanged quiet words, tension thick but controlled. "This is what they wanted," Marcus said, voice steady. "Not just to see if we could survive, but if we could fight Tand, win against their best." Lieutenant Sella checked her weapons. "They don't know what's coming." As the signal to begin echoed through the field, the Zevra launched a coordinated offensive, advancing swiftly and using their technological edge to outmaneuver the humans. But Marcus's squad was no stranger to pressure. They scattered, using the terrain to their advantage, diving behind boulders, sliding down ridges and slipping through narrow crevices. Their communication was silent, precise, relying on hand signals and instinct. Marcus led the charge, his experience evident in every move. He anticipated the Zevra's formations, countering their flanks and exploiting gaps in their ranks. When a Zevra squad attempted to encircle his team, Marcus executed a rapid counterstrike, turning the hunters into the hunted. The battle-raged plasma bolts zipped through the air. Dust kicked up by rapid movements, and the smell of ozone filled the atmosphere. The humans fought with a ferocity born of survival, refusing to yield an inch. One by one, Zevra fighters fell, stunned by the humans' unpredictable tactics and relentless energy. The Zevra's reliance on technology began to show cracks as Marcus's team adapted, jamming signals and using improvised traps. The crowd watching from the observation decks was silent shock, replacing amusement at one point. Marcus found himself face to face with Commander Thalin. Their weapons locked, eyes meeting in a silent battle of wills. Impressive, Thalin admitted through clenched teeth. But this is only the beginning. Marcus smirked. Then let's see what the beginning brings. The clash intensified, both sides pushing harder. Marcus's squad fought not just for victory, but to prove that humanity's legends were not exaggerations. They were truths forged in blood and fire. When the dust settled, Marquez's team stood victorious. They had held their ground, overcome superior numbers, and outsmarted the Zevra elite. The Zevra leaders were forced to acknowledge that humanity was not just stubborn, they were formidable. As the humans regrouped, Marcus looked to his team with quiet pride. "We showed them who we are today, not just survivors, but warriors." The message echoed beyond Veridex. Humanity's legends were no longer dismissed as myths. They had become reality. The air in the Zevra council chamber was thick with tension. The victory of Marcus and his team in the first clash had unsettled the leaders. For the first time in generations, a species they had dismissed as primitive had forced them to reconsider their assumptions. Grand Magistrate Ulrich paced slowly, eyes narrowing as he studied the reports. "They fight not like wild beasts, but with purpose and unity," he murmured. "Their strength is not in technology, but in will." Around him, the council members debated fiercely. Some called for harsher measures, a demonstration of overwhelming force to crush the humans once and for all. Others, however, argued that this was an opportunity. "We should learn from them," one voice said quietly. "If humans survive by adaptation, perhaps they can teach us something." Meanwhile, Marcus and his team used the respite to prepare. Injuries were treated, tactics refined, and alliances strengthened within their small group. They knew that Zevra would not rest, they would escalate. But Marcus had noticed something else. The Zevra's arrogance blinds them. He said one evening as the team gathered, "They expect us to break under pressure, to falter when it matters most. But we don't just survive, we evolve." Lieutenant Sella leaned forward, her eyes fierce. "It's not just about strength, it's about heart." Their next challenge was a surprise, a complex war game spanning days, with changing objectives and unpredictable threats. It would test everything they had learned. As the simulation began, the humans faced relentless waves of Zevra forces. The environment shifted from scorching deserts to frozen wastelands, each demanding new strategies. Marcus's team adapted quickly, using guerrilla tactics, deception, and unyielding teamwork. When the Zevra deployed drone swarms to flush them out, the humans hacked into the systems, turning the drones against their masters. When communications were jammed, the humans relied on instinct and trust. The tide began to turn. The Zevra commanders grew frustrated, their pride wounded by the humans' unorthodox methods. Yet with every setback, Marcus's team grew stronger, more cohesive. In one daring maneuver, Marcus led a small squad deep into enemy territory to sabotage a key energy relay. The mission was risky, but the payoff was immense scudding power to a major Zevra outpost. The success sent shockwaves through the Zevra forces. Back in the council chamber, Ulrich conceded reluctantly. "They are more than fighters. They are strategists, innovators. We must acknowledge the legend for what it is." The turning point was clear. Humanity was no longer a myth to be mocked. They were a force reshaping the balance of power. On the battlefield, Marcus's voice echoed to his team, steady and inspiring. "This is what we've trained for. This is who we are. Let's show them that legends are built on truth." The humans pushed forward, unstoppable and united. The Zevra watched, changed forever. The galaxy held its breath. News of humanity's resilience had spread far beyond the Zevra star system, rippling through allied worlds and rival factions alike. The Zevra Council, once confident in their superiority, now faced a dilemma they had never imagined. Humans were no longer mere legends. They were a real, formidable force to settle doubts once and for all. The Zevra proposed a final test, grueling, full-scale war exercise that would push both sides to the edge. This was not just a demonstration, but a crucible to prove which species possessed the endurance, strategy, and spirit to survive on, to thrive in the harsh realities of galactic conflict. The arena for this ultimate trial was set on the shattered moon of Krelver, a hostile world scarred by ancient wars and riddled with treacherous terrain. Volcanic fissures split the surface, dense forests tangled with metal wreckage, and unpredictable storms swept across the barren plains. Marcus Voss and his team arrived well aware of the stakes. The Zevra had spared no expense in crafting the simulation to test every facet of their endurance, physical, mental, and emotional. It was designed to exhaust, confuse, and break even the strongest of wills. As the humans disembarked, Marcus's eyes swept a landscape, a brutal reminder of the challenges ahead. He felt the weight of his people's future on his shoulders. "This is more than a fight," he told his squad, his voice steady and fierce. "It's a test of who we are, what we carry inside. Our strength isn't just muscle or firepower. It's in our hearts and minds. We adapt, we endure, we overcome." The first cycle of the trial was a brutal assault. Zevra forces hit with overwhelming numbers, using advanced weaponry and complex tactics. The humans dodged, evaded, and countered with guerrilla strikes. Their communication was silent, their coordination seamless, despite fatigue. In the dense forest zone, Lieutenant Sella led a flanking maneuver that disrupted the Zevra's supply lines. The success bought precious time and resources, but came at a cost. Several injuries tested the team's limits. During the night, as storms lashed the camp, Marcus held his injured comrades close, offering reassurance and determination. "We're not just fighting for today," he said. "We're fighting for every tomorrow humanity deserves." The trials continued. Navigating volcanic fissures, the humans used hit-resistant suits and quick thinking to avoid lethal traps. In urban ruins, they turned debris into cover and leveraged the environment to their advantage. Each moment tested their resilience, and each victory forged them stronger. The Zevra commanders observed with growing respect and unease. Marcus's team was not simply surviving, they were mastering the brutal landscape, adapting faster and smarter with each challenge. On the final day, the humans faced their most daunting trial. A chaotic battle in shifting storms that scrambled sensors and disrupted communications. Alone in the chaos, Marcus's leadership shone brightest, using hand signals and pre-planned contingencies. The team regrouped, counterattacked, and seized the high ground. Marcus himself led a decisive strike that turned the tide, forcing the Zevra forces into retreat as the storm cleared. Silence fell over Krelver. The Zevra Council convened, their faces a mix of awe and reluctant admiration. Grand Magistrate Ulrich addressed the humans. "You have passed the true test. Your endurance, your spirit, and your adaptability are beyond anything we expected. You are no longer myths. You are legends born of reality." Marcus nodded, exhaustion heavy, but pride stronger. "We fight. Not because we seek glory, but because we refuse to be broken. That is the strength of humanity." The trial was over. Humanity had not only survived, they had reshaped the galaxy's understanding of power. The era of mockery was done. A new chapter, forged in battle and respect, had begun. The echo of the final trial lingered long after the storm cleared over Krelver. What had begun as a desperate attempt by the Zevra to crush humanity's spirit had transformed into something else. Entirely grudging respect, tanned, perhaps, the first seeds of genuine alliance. Marcus Foss stood before the assembled Zevra Council, the weight of countless battles etched into his worn features. Around him, the alien leaders exchanged glances, some skeptical, others visibly moved. They had watched humans fight, not just with weapons, but with heart and unyielding resolve. Grand Magistrate Ulrich spoke first, his voice steady, yet filled with a new reverence. "You have shattered every expectation. What was once legend now stands before us as undeniable truth." Thalon, Marcus's former adversary, stepped forward, armor scarred but bearing an expression softened by experience. "I underestimated you, Commander. Humanity's strength is not only in your combat skills, but in your unity and resilience. It is a lesson I will carry forward." Marcus nodded, the tension in the room easing slightly. "We fight to survive. Yes, but also to protect what we hold dear. Our stories, our families, our future." The Zevra Council deliberated long into the night, weighing the outcome of the trials and the undeniable proof of humanity's worth. For centuries, they had dismissed Earth's legends as primitive fantasies, but now the reality stood stark and undeniable. A formal invitation was extended to Marcus and his team, a gesture of respect and a call for diplomatic dialogue. The Zevra sought not only to understand humanity, but to forge a new path together in a galaxy growing increasingly uncertain. Back with his team, Marcus allowed himself a rare moment of quiet pride. The battles had been brutal, the sacrifices real, but the victory went beyond mere survival. They had earned respect where none had been expected. Lieutenant Sella smiled, her eyes reflecting the fire that had driven them through every trial. "We made them believe. We made them respect us." Marcus looked to the horizon, the weight of the future pressing on him. "This is just the beginning. We must be ready for whatever comes next. The human delegation prepared to enter formal negotiations with the Zevra. The alliance born of conflict promised new opportunities and new dangers. But for now, humanity stood tall. No longer myths whispered across star systems, but legends, living and breathing proof that even in the vastness of space, the human spirit could shine brightest. The grand chamber of the Zevra Council was transformed from a place of judgment into a forum of possibility. Marcus Voss and his team entered with cautious optimism, greeted not by disdain, but by eyes reflecting curiosity and, for the first time, respect. The Council's formal invitation had opened a door, a rare opportunity for dialogue between species. Once separated by fear and misunderstanding, it was the start of something new, a chance to reshape the galaxy's future. Grand Magistrate Ulrich rose to address the assembly. Today, we recognize humanity not as a myth, but as a force with a vital role in our shared destiny. The trials have proven your resilience, your strength, and your honor. Marcus stepped forward. We come not to conquer, but to collaborate. Our strength is in unity across worlds, across cultures. Together, we can face the challenges this galaxy presents. Negotiations began with a spirit of cautious trust. Cultural exchanges were planned, technology shared, and alliances formed. Marcus and his team became ambassadors, bridging the gap between species and stories once told only in legends. Human ingenuity blended with Zevra technology, leading to advances neither could achieve alone. Defense systems improved, exploration, missions expanded, and a new era of cooperation dawned. But the path forward was not without obstacles. There were factions within the Zevra who resisted change and pockets of skepticism among other galactic powers. Marcus understood this true respect had to be earned daily. In the quiet moments, Marcus reflected on how far they had come. From the mockery of ancient myths to the battlefield. From suspicion to tentative friendship. Humanity had carved a place among the stars. Lieutenant Sella joined him on the balcony, overlooking the bustling spaceport. We changed their minds, she said softly. We made the impossible real. Marcus nodded, eyes on the horizon where ships of many species prepared for new journeys. This is only the beginning. There are endless horizons to explore, new legends to create. As the twin suns set over Veridex, casting golden light across the council chambers, a sense of hope filled the air. The galaxy was vast and full of unknowns, but humanity's place within it was no longer a question. It was a promise that no matter the odds, the human spirit would endure, inspire, and lead. And so, with respect earned and new horizons, ahead, humanity stepped boldly into the future, no longer myths whispered in the dark, but legends blazing bright across the stars.